Yeah. Well, speaking of Liverpool, actually, they are still very keen to sign a winger. It's something that has been going on pretty much the whole transfer window without much luck at the moment. They got Victor Munoz in right at the beginning of the window, didn't they? But they do want to sign another forward before the deadline next Tuesday. The two names that keep coming up, Bradley Barcola, that's been around for a long time, and Yankuba Minter, which has just surfaced recently. Play on opposite flanks, or tend to anyway. What's the latest on those two deals?
So with Barcola, it's still pretty much the same as it has been for the last 3 weeks, really, that Paris Saint-Germain want in excess of 130, 135 million pounds for the winger, and Liverpool have basically said not at that price. So I think Paris Saint-Germain are waiting for Liverpool to come back to the table and offer more likely what they want, but interested to see whether his price comes down in the latter stages of the window, especially considering he hasn't been part of the last two squads that they've had. So Barcola's clearly a player they're probably looking to move on, considering they brought on Mika Godz at the weekend as well, who make his debut for Paris Saint-Germain. So that's where we are with that one. Yankuba Minter's an interesting one because Liverpool have had a couple of bids rejected for him, one of around 50, one of around 60 million pounds. So Liverpool clearly testing the resolve of Brighton, but again, Brighton is holding on to what they think is the valuation for him. So it's up to Liverpool to come back to the table and say, actually, we'll offer you more.
What do you think Liverpool need more? A left winger or a right winger?
Cody Gakpo playing left wing for him, I think, has done quite well. He seems to consistently create and score goals, and he can play that centre forward. But I think if you're Salah, trying to replace Salah is going to be the tough one. That's the one for me if you're going to replace someone that side. But whether Minter and Barcola, whoever you bring in, can they play that side? Can they be on the right side play? If I know Barcola often operates on the left hand side, but can he do it on the right? I'm sure he can. But replacing Salah is the key, isn't it? That's you're not going to replace him. You're not going to replace his goals. No chance of that going to happen anytime soon. But getting someone in that can fill that berth, that can be an outlet, push them forward, that's key, I think.
Yeah. Looking at yesterday, Liverpool did look very vulnerable on the counter-attack, didn't they? What else do you think they need? Perhaps a more defensive-minded midfielder?
Yeah, and it's weird because you felt like they cracked it with Gravenberch. You thought like they've got a midfielder that can sit there and be defensive and organised, and it was this change when Arne Slot came in, a new role for this player, and it was incredible. And then all of a sudden it's like it's not working anymore, and why? I don't understand the reasons why behind it. So Bosley is just the one for me. He's been brilliant, but he has more of a free role, get forward. So defensive midfielder, I think right back is still a position that they need to bring in to strengthen. Frimpong I like attacking wise going forward, but I do think that defensively that's a position where they're weak, especially with Van Dijk not having the ability to cover that space the same way. I think he's still incredible, but he's not Van Dijk of old. So I think that's that right back position is somewhere they need.
Right. And going back to the winger position, Stephen mentioned Cody Gakpo there. Well, he could be sold. Yeah. What's the latest on that?
Well, it's staggered, isn't it? He started, scored, played Rio and Gamoa on the right, so kind of a little bit out of position, so Gakpo could play in his best position yesterday, and yet he might not be a Liverpool player next week. Because we know Tottenham Hotspur are interested, we know that interest is real. He's one of their big targets as they look to sign potentially 2 or 3 forwards this window, so that's one to look out for, because I suppose Liverpool will want to fund any deals that they want to sort of, go ahead with. They do have to spend more than they want to on the likes of Barcola and Minter. So it's definitely one that may well move in the next few days, even though he's still a very important player for Iraola from week 1. So it's going to be interesting. It's something that Gary Neville, again, was talking about after the Newcastle game yesterday.
I think Gakpo actually did all right. There's talk of him leaving, but I actually think Gakpo, if you had a suite of 3 or 4 wide players, I don't have a problem with Gakpo at the top level, by the way, where Liverpool want to be, or an Arsenal. I think he'd be in most top teams, sort of what would be 4 wide players. You might not want him as your 1 and 2, but you'd be certainly happy if he was your sort of second left winger.
Well, Spurs very keen to get some attacking players in. They might need them, judging by their performance against Brentford. Yeah. Stephen, so putting your Spurs cap on, it's always on, isn't
always
it?
Always on, yeah. Is it ever off?
Take it off when you're on air, thankfully, because you can't wear it on air.
No.
So the 3 players there, it's possible that they could get all 3 of them, but say there are only 2 that Spurs could get. Which 2 of those 3 would you prefer? Who do they need the most?
Genuinely, for me, if you're like Gakpo would be my number one for Spurs. If you
Really?
yeah,
What, more
yeah.
than Savinho and Marmoush?
Yeah. I just think because Spurs need someone that is proven at this level to an extent, and Savinho and Marmoush haven't done it yet. So it's an unknown quantity to some extent. I know we've seen glimpses and we still, ability to go past players and look incredible, but I think in the Premier League they haven't actually hit the ground running yet. They've had a season and a half for Marmoush.
Liverpool have reportedly completed another major development, with Barclays finally joining the Reds, creating fresh excitement among supporters. The news has quickly become a major talking point around the club, with fans eager to understand the significance of the latest move and what it could mean for Liverpool's ambitions. After a period of planning and preparation, the development represents another step forward for the Reds as they continue shaping their plans and building toward an ambitious future at Anfield. Barclays' arrival comes at an important moment for Liverpool, with the club continuing to focus on creating a competitive setup capable of challenging for major honours. The Reds have ambitious targets, and developments such as this are expected to play a role in strengthening the club's wider project. Supporters have been watching closely for signs of progress, and the latest announcement has provided another reason for optimism. The reaction from fans has already begun to grow, with many welcoming Barclays and looking forward to seeing what happens next. Liverpool's management will now be expected to ensure that Barclays settles quickly and understands what is required at a club of Liverpool's size. Representing the Reds comes with enormous expectations, and every new addition is expected to contribute to the club's objectives. The focus will therefore be on making the transition as smooth as possible while ensuring that the latest development fits properly into Liverpool's wider plans. With competition expected to be fierce both domestically and in Europe, Liverpool will need every part of their project working effectively. There is also growing anticipation about whether this development could lead to more important announcements from Liverpool. The club's supporters are always eager for the latest updates, and Barclays joining the Reds has once again placed Liverpool firmly in the spotlight. The timing is particularly interesting because the club is preparing for another demanding period, where consistency, quality, and strong organization will be essential. Fans will now be watching closely to see whether this latest move is followed by further developments. For Liverpool supporters, the biggest question will ultimately be what impact Barclays can have on the Reds' ambitions. Excitement surrounding an announcement is one thing, but fans will want to see the move translate into real progress. Liverpool have a proud history and a demanding fan base, meaning every major development is measured against the club's desire to compete for the biggest trophies. Barclays will therefore be under attention as the Reds continue their preparations and look to establish themselves among the strongest teams.